Story time with Teacher Joyce.
Hello, 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 how are you? I like to be with you, and you and you and you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Teacher Joyce video. And today I'm going to tell you a story. Who likes to listen to a story? Me! Yes, everyone loves to listen to a story. And today, the title of my story is The Elves and the Shoemaker. Can you repeat after me? The Elves and the Shoemaker. Are you ready? Alright, sit nicely, listen to the story, and I have a question later. Once upon a time, there lived a shoemaker and his wife. The man was a good shoemaker and he worked hard. Yet, he and his wife were very poor. As time went on, they grew poorer and poorer. At last, the day came when all the shoemaker had left was one piece of leather. It would make only one pair of shoes. That evening, before he went to bed, the shoemaker cut out a pair of shoes from the leather. Then he left them on his workbench, all ready for him to sew in the next morning. The next morning, the shoemaker got up early and went to his workshop, ready to make the shoes. On his bench, instead of the leather, he found a pair of shoes already made. Wow! He was astonished and did not know what to think. The same morning, a lady came into the shop to buy a pair of shoes. The shoemaker showed her the pair he had found on his bench. She said, "I have never seen such a well-made shoes." The lady tried on the shoes and they fitted her perfectly. She was so pleased with them that she paid the shoemaker twice the usual price. Wow! Amazing, right? With the money she got from the lady, the shoemaker was able to buy leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. That night, before he went to bed, he cut out 2 pairs of shoes from the leather. He left them on his workbench, all ready to sew in the next morning. The next morning, the shoemaker found out on his workbench 2 pairs of shoes already made. Wow! He took the shoes in his hand and looked carefully. Wow! The shoes really neatly made. Very perfect. That morning, a man came into the shop to buy some shoes, and he tried the shoes given by the shoemaker. And guess what? The man really liked the shoes, and he paid twice the usual price. And so it went on. Every night, the shoemaker cut out some leather and left it on his workbench. Every morning, he found the shoes all neatly made. Many rich customers came to his shop to buy these perfect shoes. So in time, the shoemaker and his wife become rich. One evening, the shoemaker and his wife had a plan. "We still do not know who sews the shoes for us. he said. "Shall we stay up tonight to see who it is that helped us?" said the husband. His wife thought it was a good idea. She lit a candle and they went into the workshop. They hid themselves in a corner of the room. And then the shoemaker and his wife waited quietly and watched to see what would happen. For a long time, nothing happened. Then just as the clock struck midnight, the door of the workshop opened quietly. And in came tiny elves. They were dressed in old clothes and their feet were bare. There's no socks, no shoes, no slippers. They did not see the shoemaker and his wife who were hiding in the corner, watching them. The elves began to stitch, sew, and made the shoes. They worked so neatly. The elves did not stop for a moment until all the cut-out shoes were finished. Then they ran quickly away. The next morning, the wife and the shoemaker had a breakfast. The shoemaker asked his wife, "How can we thank these little elves who have made us so rich and so happy?" "I know what we can do," said the wife. "We can make them new clothes and also pair of shoes."
During the evenings, the shoemaker and his wife began to make new clothes and new pair of shoes for the elves.
The shoemaker's wife cut out 2 white shirts, 2 small green jackets, and 2 pairs of trousers to match. She sewed them with tiny stitches. She made 2 little caps, each with a feather on it, and she also knitted 2 pairs of tiny white stockings. One night, the shoemaker and his wife cleared the ladder and the tools from his workbench. He and his wife laid their presents on the bench instead of their usual work. Then they hid themselves as they had done before and waited to see what the elves would do. Just as the clock struck midnight, the door opened quietly. The 2 elves came running in. They still wore their old clothes and their feet were blue with cold. They jumped onto the bench, ready to get to work at once. But there was no ladder on the bench, only the tiny clothes. They were astonished at first, and then they were very delighted. In no time at all, they were out of their old clothes and they tried the new clothes, the green jackets and the trousers, then the white shirts and the stockings, the soft leather shoes and little caps with the feathers that nodded as they laughed. Then they joined hands and danced around and singing, "Now we are boys, so fine to see. We need no longer cowls be." At last, they danced happily out of the door. The shoemaker and his wife never saw the little elves again. But from that time, good luck was always with them. They were rich and happy for the rest of their lives. The end. So, how was the story, everyone? Do you like it? I hope you like it. And the moral lesson of the story is, we need to help others because one day we also need help from others. Just like the elves, they help the shoemaker, and on the other day, the shoemaker helped the elves. So it is very important to help each other. Alright, thank you for listening and watching my story. And it's time for questions now. The first question is, what is the title of my story today? What is it? The elves. What is it? I will show you. The Elves and the Shoemaker. Correct. Very good. The second question.
What did the elves do to help the shoemaker?
Yes, the elves helped the shoemaker to make a very well-made shoes. Question number 3. What did the shoemaker and his wife do to help the little elves? What is it? Made them the new clothes. Very good. What else? Made them trousers, and then shoes, and caps, and stockings too. Well done, everyone. Very good. And that's all my story for today. I hope you really enjoyed the story and remember the lesson from the story to help each other, just like the elves and the shoemaker. Thank you for watching, everyone, and see you on my next video. Bye!